Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Thursday, the 18th of November. This video is for educational purpose only. There is no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It is only to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis, how to demonstrate how you can apply it to your charts and trading and investment too. So let's see what happened yesterday. We had a little bit of a sell-off. Not massively, but still in the US market. Just to recap a little bit on some of the big ones. Nvidia plan to announce earnings tomorrow, 19th, probably, I think, after market. Still 176, 177 is the key support. I'll also here around 118 where we have the lower part of cloud and we have the 100 moving average coming down. So not really much to talk about there. But semiconductors were hit a bit yesterday, about 1.6% down on the index. The Tesla, well, it hasn't really officially closed this gap here. You can see it dipped down here, it opened lower but got back up, and also yesterday was actually a positive day for Tesla. So it was a little bit against the trend than the other markets and the other instruments and sectors. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, so still holding on a little bit. But if it takes out these lows here, dip here from the 14s, well, then that could be it. But it actually does have established a bearish trend, but it's not confirmed just yet. So also very quickly recap on Microsoft. Still the support here at 492, that is key. But let's have a look at the main indices. We have Nasdaq 100. Once again tested the support there at 24,652. We are also still above or just around the rising trend line there, so we are still clinging to the bullish trend, although we seems to be in for a correction. We could see a bounce here. Let's see what Nvidia maybe that could be crucial what Nvidia will do. Pre-market, here we have the future, the Nasdaq future. Once again here testing the minor support there at 24,709, actually key support. We are below the rising trend line there on the future. Moving on to the Nasdaq, the S&P 500, also tested. It is the cash 6,655 support there. We could actually say, well, it could be that little spike down there at 6,631. But we are at a crucial time. Dow Jones, on the other hand, actually closed below its support there. But still positive sentiment. But there has been divergence. I mean, there's been indication of an uptrend exhaustion for quite some time. And now we are getting closer to the end of the month. So that will be also key to watch here towards the end of the year. And usually you get buyers in December, but again, Nvidia could be crucial for that scenario to play out. On the pre-market here, we have S&P 500 actually dipping lower here. That's the future. You can see it's currently also below the 40 threshold there on our side. We are below the rising trend line. Here is the future here, yeah. And seems like it will establish a bearish trend or a correction at least. And if we're moving to the horizontal line there's some support there where we are trading at the moment. And then we, of course, we have that over here around 6,540. The Russell 2000 is in a bearish trend, confirmed negative sentiment below the support there. Next one, there's some support here, 231 here. It's the ETF we're looking at for the Russell 2000, but we could see it dipping lower here in the coming days and weeks. So it's really the small caps that are not having any fun at the moment. We see the bearish trend confirmed. In Asia, got hit by sell-off also. The Hang Seng closing just in the cloud, a lower part of the cloud here. So the key levels still positive sentiment, but it is a bit it is a bit fragile, this uptrend we have going on here. Let's see what it can do the next day. Will it bounce and then move back above 26,500, or will it break the rising trend line and 25,496 support there? Nikkei future also selling off here, so we can remove this one. So we have testing the support there at 48,450. I think it will break it. I think we will move lower, and later in this little video here, we'll have a look at the Japanese yields. They are rising. In Europe, sell off yesterday, and it seems to be the name of the game also here when we are soon to open. So setting back here, I think there is a potential down to lower levels. We can add a Fibonacci just to give a little bit of a dare. But I prefer to add it to the futures / the CFD, and we can see it actually testing the 55 moving average here pre-market, dipping lower, and I think we could risk seeing down to the 5,500 level here. Still positive sentiment here if you see on the RSI, but it looks fairly fragile. I think we could get lifted a little bit later today, but here we have the DAX that is really under pressure. Risk down to 23,317, and we can see here pre-market it actually below its support there. It's below 200 moving average. It's below the 40 threshold. We are meaning we are in a negative sentiment on the RSI. We established the bearish trend, bearish scenario. I still do believe we can see a little bit of a bounce and bargain hunters trying to come in and lift the market, but it is really not looking too good for the European markets, and we are also seeing rising yields. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Rising yields in Europe. Excuse me. Moving on to the FX market, that is fairly quiet. Still, euro dollar, as we can see here, well, trading around the 38.2 retracement of this bounce up there at 115.84. I still believe we will see it sliding lower here in the coming days and weeks, but for now it's holding on because we have rising yields in Europe, not so much in US just yet. But we need your dollar to move back at least above 116.70 to establish a bullish, try to establish a bullish trend. For now, it's still in a bearish trend, as we can see. Sterling dollar can't make up its mind. Should I bounce higher or should I slide lower? We could see it actually bouncing a little bit higher before we see it resuming downtrend, because we have the 200 moving average helping it up here. We could see it up to around 133 and the 61.8 retracement, but then I think we will see it moving lower. But let's see. It depends if it can take out that spike up there. Then I think we will see, where is it? There we are. 132.15. Then I think we're looking 133. Euro sterling taking a breather after a nice bullish rally there, and we had this spike up, this like shooting star-like pattern. It's not the perfect one, but still setting back a little bit. We are a little bit stressed on the RSI. However, if it takes out, and you can do the same, draw trend lines on the RSI also. If it breaks above its falling trend line there, well, then it could be indication that it will push higher, and I think it will do it eventually, push higher. I don't think we will see a reversal of trend. You see all moving averages are rising. Moving on to the yen pairs, and finally yen took off and got above 155. Still continuing this bullish trend. We can see that the RSI here closed above the falling trend line, and is testing from the other side. I think it will push higher. We can also see here on the weekly, we are still in a bullish trend, fairly strong. There's no divergence on the RSI. There's no resistance until we reach around 158. Not that we will move up there in a straight line, but look out for that. Still forming what could be a rising wedge, but it's not the most perfect one. So I'm a little bit reluctant to call it just yet. The Euro Yen also crawling higher, reached 132, projected 180. Could see a little bit correction because now you can see we have some divergence here. We have RSI not really following. It's lower here than here, so we actually in imbalance. So a little bit of exhaustion indication of the bullish trend, but we are not anything confirmed. And again, we are not about to reverse the trend, but maybe a little bit of a correction. So keep an eye on that. Aussie Yen. Can't make up his mind. Seems like we are a little bit in a correction here. We have some indication lately about the RSI that has formed or indicated uptrend reversal. So maybe a little bit of a setback down to 100, possibly down to 99.45 with the 786 retracement of this uptrend there. Sterling Yen. Knocking on the resistance level there, 204.25. Spiked above yesterday, trying again today. Could it take off? I think it will do it eventually, and then we'll see a push up towards 206 area. But for now, it is still struggling. RSI crawling back above 60 threshold, it seems. So the sentiment is bullish or positive. Aussie dollar, still this range bound here, so I will skip it, and we have talked about it for so many days, so this range here that is still can't really make up his mind what they want to do. A lot of volatility, but no strong move. Dollar Canada, we have been talking about, that was just a correction that could have taken down to the area around 139.50, but it didn't. It bounced off this 61.8 retracement here and seems to be bouncing further, and that was the 61.8 retracement. So now what we can do, I will keep this one, just slide it a little bit to the side, and then I will add a new one and say, all right, we have this move here, and then we are currently at the 50%, or it did touch the 50%. I think it will bounce back further if it takes out the peak today and RSI close back above 60 threshold. And I think it will do that if we get the peak today taken out. Then bullish trend has resumed and positive sentiment, no divergence, and I think we'll see dollar Canada higher levels in the coming days and weeks towards also taking out this peak there. And that scenario will play out as long as we stay above this 139.80 area here. If it takes out, well, then we'll sit down here. So uptrend intact for dollar Canada. Sterling Canada, sideways range here, still between 185.50 and 183.30. Euro Swiss. Had formed this bullish engulfing like pattern here yesterday, and so I think we'll see a bounce up to 92.5, maybe 92.70, 61.8 retracement there. But we are in a bearish trend overall, but it seems to be bouncing here. The dollar Swiss, more or less the same picture, really formed. It got down to these levels around here, so now it seems to be bouncing, but there's strong overhead resistance in the form of the 55 moving average coming down. We also have the 100, we have the cloud area, and we could see it spike up to 80. I don't think it will stay up there. I think it will slide back, but let's see about that. If it can stay up here, well, then maybe we could see it building higher, but I think we will set back also there. Dollar index seems to be bouncing, so we can remove this one, and bouncing back above the 38.2. We could see it up to 99.70, which is the 61.8 retracement. But then again, we have the 200 moving average kind of putting a lid on it there. But there's positive sentiment on the RSI, so we could see a move higher. And in the coming weeks, I think it will take some time, but I think we will see it crawling higher towards and above 100. If it takes out the lows there, well, then we are back below 98.50, possibly lower. Gold and metals overall are quite weak at the moment. We have gold in a correction phase, trading around the 61.8 retracement there at 4,023. We could dip it down to the 786 retracement at 3,963. But then we have the 55 moving average coming up. So I think we'll see a dip down there, and then we could see a bounce. But let's see about that. If it could also slide lower to this support here, but I'm not quite sure. I think it will bounce off here, but keep an eye on what's going on if it comes down there. The silver, well, also in a correction phase. I think we could see it down to 48.90, which is a 61.8. Excuse me, retracement. And then I think we'll see a bounce. Still positive sentiment on the RSI is likely to that. However, we could also, and that's still really much up in the air, is this a top and reversal pattern? Is this a double top? But then it needs to take out 45.50 down here to confirm that. And we are nowhere near that at the moment. I think we will see a bounce either from here or maybe even down here around 47.50. So let's see about that. We have platinum, key support 1490 down here. If it moves below that, then we are in for a bearish move. But for now, we are still in this correction phase on platinum. Copper, well, caught sideways. Underlying bullish trend with the 55 coming up and a 200 coming up. So medium term, I think we will see copper higher, but it hasn't really materialized yet. And it's still a little bit up in the air what it will do here. We are in a sideways correction phase, but we are above all moving averages. So underlying trend and also positive sentiment is telling us that. But there's a little bit divergence on the RSI, as you can see. So it needs to get back above the falling trend line, and RSI also needs to get back above 60 threshold to confirm a bullish trend. On the energy market, still crude oil in a bearish move. I still believe we will see it lower, given that we have lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and maybe now also low. And short term, we also had that little bit of a pattern there. So if it takes out these lows there, then we are likely to dip lower. Same picture on Brent Crude, of course, that bounced off the 61.8 retracement. If it takes out the lows there from a few days ago last week at 62.34, well, then we confirmed bearish trend. European nat gas, well, bounced after finding support there at the 30s, but 30 euros bouncing here. It's getting cold colder in Western Europe or Northern Europe than usual. Have to get to southern Italy and Greece to find some warm weather. So that might support the European nat gases prices a little bit. The US nat gas correction phase, and I think we will see it down to around 412, 415 here, support area. But the overall trend, also medium term, is still bullish. But we have a top and reversal here. We have a bearish engulfing there. We also have one here actually. So we are in for a correction, and I think at least down to the 415, 412 level. Moving on to the interest rate and yields market, the US 10-year Treasury yields, still this range bound here between 405 and 416, 17. But again, it is really the 420 up here that is the really key resistance that should be observed. But range bound, so for now, let's wait and see. On the other hand, in Europe, we have the Euro 10-year that reached the 273, 272, 273, and then got knocked down a little bit. So what we can do, we can add this one and say, okay, maybe how deep will it move? So it could possibly go down to the 38.2 retracement right there at 265. I'm not quite sure to do that, but if it takes out the lows there at the 263, then it has reversed the trend. But for now, it's actually bullish trend, and I think it will push higher. But 273 needs to be taken out to confirm that. UK yields that spiked higher above the previous trend line. It's basically obsolete now, so let's just remove it. But we are in a 50% retracement of this sell-off there, a strong bounce, setting back a little bit. I think eventually we will see a turnaround, but look at this, RSI actually got rejected at 60 threshold at first take, so a little bit of setback, and then I think we'll see a push again. In Japan, the another jump in 10-year yields to the 138.2 projection at 175, and then a little bit. We are on a bullish trend. I think we will see a little bit of a setback, and then I think we'll see it pushing higher in the coming weeks. Moving on to crypto and Bitcoin, we can see a massive sell-off here the past week or so, past 8-10 days, but we've actually seen a bearish trend here for the past 3-4 weeks or so, down to around 88,000 now here, where we have some support. And if it takes out that, well, then we're down here in these areas here where there's no strong support, so it looks like a falling knife at the moment. So be careful out there with the Bitcoin. I think we could see it bouncing a little bit here the next few days maybe, but look out for that 88,000 support there. Ethereum taking a little bit more of a breather, actually, still above the trading around the 3,000, dipping a little bit below. We are in a bearish trend, however, negative sentiment, but I think we could also see a bounce here the next few days, and then let's see what will happen. But we are in a bearish trend that could take it lower, but expect a bounce. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Be careful out there. It can be quite volatile. And remember, Nvidia tomorrow after market. Talk to you again later.